We all know that some YouTubers like pushing the boundaries to spice up their content and get more views and likes. Most creators have the common sense to know when to stop, and they draw the line when their videos can put their lives or others at risk. But some influencers prove that common sense may not be that common. Today, we'll talk about 5 YouTubers who just didn't know when to stop. Some of the things they did endangered other people and in some cases even caused fatalities. Do you want to know about 5 YouTubers who went to jail? Keep watching. The first YouTube channel on the list actually belongs to a duo. Alan and Alex Stokes are twins, and they became famous for their YouTube videos that include challenges, Q&As, and pranks. Their main audience is girls from 13 to 17 years old, so their content is usually appropriate for teens. But on October 15th, 2019, their pranking took a dark turn. Alex and Alan thought it would be a good idea to do a prank in public, where they would pretend that they've robbed a bank. They dressed up all in black, wore black face masks, and started running around with big bags, dropping fake money as people watched them cautiously. While they were pretending to escape, the twins called an Uber and demanded to be taken away from the scene. The Uber driver obviously refused to let them in because he didn't want to get into any trouble, but it was too late for him. Some bystanders had already called the police, and when they got there, they approached the innocent Uber driver with their guns drawn and thought he was involved in a crime. Can you imagine the stress this poor man must have experienced? The worst part is that the twins pulled this prank twice that day. The first time they did, they were questioned by the police and then released, so they decided to go for it again in another place. They were officially charged in August 2020. In April 2021, they pleaded guilty and were sentenced to 160 hours of community service and 1 year of probation. According to Orange County's district attorney, this prank could have gone wrong very easily, and it could even have gotten someone hurt or worse.
This was not a prank. This was criminal activity.
The twins were also ordered not to produce any more videos that mimic criminal behavior. So far, they haven't, but in the time between their arrest and their sentencing, they have continued to upload other types of videos every Sunday. Their YouTube channel now has over 7 million subscribers. Let's hope that their fame doesn't make them forget the lesson that they learned. Unlike the twins, the intention of the next person on the list was never to make a spectacle to get views. In fact, what happened to him was an unfortunate accident. Daniel Silva is a 27-year-old tattoo artist who has worked with people like Ethan Dolan, NFL cornerback Jalen Ramsey, and Trippie Redd. You may know him from Ink Master. Ink Master is a reality TV where different tattoo artists compete in different challenges to show their skill. The winner of each season gets $100,000 and the title of Ink Master. After he found fame from the reality show, Daniel started his own YouTube channel where he uploads time-lapse of his work. On May 10th, 2020, Daniel was driving his 2020 McLaren with his good friend, YouTube star Corey LaBerry. They had been drinking and celebrating Corey's 25th birthday before they decided to go for a drive. Obviously, this didn't go well. At some point, Daniel lost control of his vehicle, ran off the road, hitting a tree and a street sign. According to witnesses, Daniel tried to escape the scene after the crash, but bystanders stopped him. Both Daniel and Corey were taken to the hospital, but the tragic accident ended up taking Corey's life. Daniel was arrested and sentenced to 1 year in prison, 5 years of probation, and 50 hours of community service. He was released from prison in October 2020, sooner than his original sentence stated. On February 16th, 2021, Daniel uploaded a YouTube video called I Love You, Corey, where he read a letter written by Corey's family and offered a heartfelt apology.
I want to start off by saying how sorry I am for all the pain that everybody's going through.
Daniel apologized to Corey, his friends, family, and fans, and also clarified that he has no recollection of trying to run away from the scene of the accident. Even though the tragic passing of Corey was not the consequence of a reckless prank, it could have been prevented if Daniel hadn't driven while under the influence. The next person on this list did the unthinkable and traded life for views. Mona Lisa Perez was a 20-year-old aspiring YouTuber, and in 2017, she accidentally took the life of her 22-year-old boyfriend, Pedro Ruiz. Mona Lisa and Pedro had a daughter together, and at the time of this incident, Mona Lisa was pregnant with her second child. Mona Lisa was an aspiring YouTuber, and she usually vlogged her life with her family. On June 26, 2017, Mona Lisa actually managed to find fame, but the price she had to pay was higher than she was expecting. Before the tragic incident, Mona Lisa tweeted, "Me and Pedro are probably going to shoot one of the most dangerous videos ever. His idea, not mine." The video that the couple intended to film consisted of Mona Lisa firing a very powerful weapon at Pedro from a 30-centimeter distance. Pedro will use an encyclopedia in front of his chest to shield him.
I'm just not going to just set it and just, no. I'm going to stand behind it. And Mona Lisa is going to
Pedro had previously experimented with a weapon and thought the book would protect him from the bullet. He had been asking Mona Lisa to do this for a long time, and she refused many times until she finally gave in. But as you can imagine, things went terribly wrong. The bullet actually went all the way through the book and into Pedro's chest. Meanwhile, 30 people, including their daughter, watched in horror. Mona Lisa called the emergency services herself and said she'd accidentally shot her boyfriend, but once the paramedics got there was nothing left to do. Pedro passed away at the scene. Mona Lisa pleaded guilty to second-degree manslaughter, and she was sentenced to 6 months in jail. Everyone that knew him knew that he never hesitated to try something new, always pushing things to their limits. The next person on the list is also a small YouTuber who thought he could get away with trouble, but he was so wrong. If there's one thing worse than threatening an entire hospital, it's doing it in the middle of a global pandemic. This all happened when Matthew Wayne, a 31-year-old British YouTuber, went to the Birmingham City Hospital in March 2020, claiming that he was having a heart attack. Apparently, Matthew was unhappy with the treatment he received at the hospital, and he decided to make a YouTube video ranting about it. This isn't that strange since lots of people rant on YouTube, but the problem is that this video included a call he made to the emergency department where he said some really awful stuff. During the call, Matthew described how badly he had been treated and even said, "After the way they spoke to me, I hope they all die of the virus because they would deserve it." As if that wasn't enough, he then added, "Not being funny, after what you had done to me yesterday, I would the place, to be honest." Matthew then posted the 10-minute long video on YouTube and it got 81,000 views. After the video gained some traction, Matthew was arrested and taken to court for his threats. Matthew was jailed for 12 weeks and he was also ordered to pay a fine. Hopefully, this will teach him not to joke around about these types of things. Luckily, Matthew's recklessness didn't cause anyone any physical harm, which is more than we could say about this next person on our list. In March 2014, Ryan Stone, a man from Denver, began a crazy 90-minute car chase that had the entire community on edge. It all started after Ryan, who already had a long criminal record, stole a car at a gas station. Ryan sped away, even though there was a 4-year-old boy inside, waiting for his mom. Can you imagine the terror the poor mom must have felt as she saw the car with her baby drive away? After driving for a while, Ryan used the car to block the way of another vehicle. When the terrified passengers got out of the car, he stole that one, abandoning the first car with the unharmed 4-year-old inside. Ryan crashed the second car near the Denver airport and proceeded to carjack a third vehicle. At this point, a state trooper by the name of Bellaman He tried to use stop sticks to deflate the tires of the stolen car. He was struck by the car Ryan was driving and his legs shattered in 20 places. By the end of the chase, Ryan crashed the third vehicle and then attempts to escape by foot. That's when he was finally captured by the police. This, however, wasn't the end of it. If you're already thinking that Ryan has serious issues, you are going to be very surprised by what comes next. It turns out that this crazy and dangerous car chase was part of Ryan's plan to become rich. He wanted to call the attention of the media, so when the news reported the chase on YouTube, Ryan could copyright strike the videos and collect the money they made. There are even videos where he happily brags about having made the news.
My lawyer told me I made the news in the UK and Australia. If you type in Grand Theft Auto on YouTube, my comes up first.
But once he was taken to court and discovered he was facing a lifelong sentence, his attitude changed and he begged the judge.
"I pray you leave me time to start a family of my own."
But Ryan probably won't ever be able to start a family of his own. He was sentenced to 160 years behind bars. These 5 cases are examples of people who actually got arrested and sentenced, but just think of all those influencers out there who are reckless and selfish but never get caught. It's kinda scary, isn't it? So where do we draw the line between what kind of content can be fun and interesting and what is just dangerous? Personally, I think that if your vlog could put yourself or another living being in physical or mental danger, it's better not to do it at all. What are your thoughts on these YouTubers or aspiring celebrities? Let me know in the comments below.